To the Carbitrage Podcast, episode 157. I'm Eric Berger, joined as always by Ryan Sinitsky and Jana.
Hello.
And I don't know if Scott's in here yet, but we have, since we're doing this live via Discord because of human malware, one of our top patrons, Scott, is in the chat too. Doesn't look like he's in right now, but he'll be joining us as well.
Wonderful. That's fun.
Yeah, so as I just kind of alluded to, we are not in the studio, so hopefully everything's coming through okay on the stream. If there are audio issues, please type them in chat so I can take care of them so our recording is not ruined. But yeah, I'm coming at you. What's that?
Sound good to me.
Yeah, everything looks okay on the levels. I briefly checked the stream and it sounded like it was okay. But still, I would love to know if there are problems so I can fix them, at least on the recording side, so we can actually put the podcast out as the podcast. But yeah, I'm coming at you live from my upstairs office. Ryan, you are...
I may or may not be wearing pants.
Okay, cool. And Jana
And
hopefully
I am in
is
my house.
not being subjected to that.
No, I'm in my own bedroom surrounded by my giant stuffed animals, so we're all good.
This works surprisingly well, I have to say. Cool. Well, moving right along, I want to just briefly brush on Patreon. I already mentioned we have one of our patrons with us, but Patreon is a direct support mechanism for content consumers like you to support content producers like us. Head on over to patreon.com/carbitrage, and you can explore several layers of open-ended support for the podcast. So basically, we just use it to buy beer. But yeah, head on over to patreon.com/carbitrage. All right, so for beer, I am actually drinking a rum and coke, not a beer, just a little bit different.
Hey, I actually have to go to the grocery store because I ran out of rum for my rum and cokes.
Oh, you're having a rum and coke too?
No, I had one last night, and it was the last bit of rum in the house. I actually have to go to the liquor store.
So much rum.
So,
Corey,
thankfully,
I upped the volume on Ryan and Jana. They sound okay? Sorry, guys, they were a little low. Okay, perfect.
So, thankfully, my liquor store down the street is considered a
essential.
Yeah, essential business.
I wanted to get some vinyl for the side of my car that just said, "I'm essential."
Can you make one for me? Because I literally am.
Graphics guy is working from home, so I can't, unfortunately. His printer's in storage mode.
Oh, lame.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, so we are all from our homes.
You can just do it in Comic Sans. That's fine.
Yeah.
Jana, I'm imagining, is probably on her bed with a poodle and like 100 blankets.
No poodle, but I do have a bunch of blankets and stuffed animals.
There we go.
Modi's in his cat perch. I'm going to turn on the cat viewing thing for our streamers here. All right. Anyway.
So while you are doing that, I want to talk about, this is something that I don't have an actual article for because this is like breaking news.
Okay.
But apparently people are reporting that there's been like a massive increase, like a 4-fold increase in the number of newer used cars that are going to auction with less than 4,000 miles on them.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. So that's like, you're talking like loaner vehicle fleet stuff just going to auction.
People bought cars in December.
Mm-hmm.
And now they can't pay for them.
Oh god, I see. So there's not necessarily a repo, but probably a repo.
I think there's got to be some repos in there, but repos are generally like noted as being repos.
Okay.
So I think what they are is a lot of people are going to dealerships and just
surrendering
jumping out of
them?
their new car.
Oh, okay.
Just surrendering them. So no way can I actually pay for this.
I mean, I totally understand that, though, because even a week ago, like, I wasn't sure if I was going to get laid off this week because my business may or may not be essential, and I don't live so far above my means or anything, but, like, I just had to pay for collector's insurance the other day, and that took half my cash reserve. So, like, I've got a 2-month safety net right now, but that's it. And normally I sit at like a 6 or 7.
That's kind of what I have too. Yeah, and you just had like a bunch of shit that went on.
I know. Went from like $9,000 in the bank to 2.5. I'm like, that's not good.
Yeah. It's so like I live a very frugal life because I'm trying to buy a house and everything.
Right.
But yeah, living such a frugal life, like I on probably about $2,000 can make it 2 months if I buy like just ramen.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking if this goes beyond April, I'm gonna be running into some issues here.
Yeah,
So,
I think I might be
hopefully it
too.
doesn't.
I'm
But-
doing okay because, like, I was worried that childcare was going to get shut down, not because we're not essential, but because they were worried about the kids spreading it. But we also have so few students right now that I was like, are we going to stay open? And I got my COVID-19 schedule, so I think we're going to stay open. But it's weird because, like, I drive up 100 every day, and it's like a ghost town. Like, my drive that takes 15 minutes is taking 10.
Oh, and everyone's doing 20 over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I even took a detour through Mexico yesterday and hit my daily triple
Yeah.
in Mexico on the
Yeah,
way back from your
Mexico,
house.
the border crossing's
Yeah.
super easy right now. Yep.
Yeah, that one,
It's,
the open border to Mexico.
I'm getting out of work by like 4:45 when I normally end work at 6. Like yesterday, because I had extra things to do. Thankfully, I was there until later, but it's just very bizarre.
Things are so strange. Yeah, well put.
But back to the whole thing with cars going back. It's not entirely sure if they're all repos, but a lot of these people, when you're living like on the edge and you're maybe one paycheck away from getting a repo, like you're
Yeah.
already a couple of payments behind.
Yep.
It takes a furlough and then you lose your car. But yeah, I think it's just astounding that it's more than quadrupled. And it's not 4,000 miles. It's cars with under 1,000 miles. So
Wow.
people that off the bat have been screwing up their payments.
Yeah, that's a brand new car. Like they sign in drive or whatever, and the manufacturer pays their first payment on this incentive, and then this happens when their hours get cut or they get laid off. Or
So one of the people in this group chat that I'm on Media group chat, he said he was actually working at a food bank to just do some volunteer work,
Mhm.
and he said he was astounded by the number of people showing up in like Audi Q5s
Mhm.
and like
Yeah.
like CRV Tourings and stuff like
I
that.
should, well, I
So,
guess
like,
he's
30, 40, $50,000 cars that are now like on the edge. So it's not really a great thing, but at the same time, maybe the Q5 isn't the best purchase decision. That's my 2 cents.
We actually know for sure that it is not. I mean, if you get a 3.0T Q5, like it's okay. It's okay.
It isn't until your coolant line that goes underneath your intake, underneath your supercharger breaks and dumps out all your coolant. 'Cause
Then you
it's a
overheat it.
piece of plastic that they put under everything of the car.
Ah,
Like it's
dang it.
basically it's halfway to being an internal piece of the engine, and this pipe that goes like a crossover pipe that goes from the thermostat to like the back of the engine, like that's made of plastic.
Well, everything.
It takes 6 hours to reach.
At least it's a cold V engine, though, because BMW does that same thing with hot Vs. So they'll run plastic with like a little bit of thermal radiation material underneath the turbos, and yeah, it cooks the plastic.
Yeah, it's super
It's
bad.
not good. Oh, Scott's back. Feel free to hop in,
Yes.
Scott, if you have stuff to
Yep,
contribute.
I'm in. I just don't want to interrupt.
Cool.
But anyway, yeah. So I think it's a great time to keep making your car payments.
It's a great way to stay in
So-
shape.
So I've read some articles saying that I think it was Hyundai specifically was offering I think 6 months of deferred payments, but this would be different if the dealership or the manufacturer was offering to buy them back. Have you gotten any indication that a manufacturer is offered to buy back cars that from people that lost their jobs?
I don't know if they've been saying anything about buying back. I know that a lot of people have been trading them back in and just like taking the $4 or $5 grand negative equity L on that, and then now they're paying off just that small amount instead of having to pay off the entire car.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was officially announced or not, but like mortgages were supposed to be, you could basically just tell your bank that you're experiencing a financial difficulty or whatever, and they will suspend your need to pay your mortgage for like 2 months. I'm not sure if all car manufacturers are looking into that kind of stuff too, or like credit unions in this case, but I would imagine
Good Lord,
there might be.
do I hope they do, because if they don't, we are really in for the whole shock of the subprime auto loan market just collapsing.
yeah.
Like everybody has been saying for years, but like this is one of those things that would cause that to happen. So maybe they should not.
Oh, sorry guys, that was my phone.
Yeah, it was your phone. Oh, it reminds me I should put my phone on.
There you go. I'm making sure both of mine are on silent.
I'm doing that right now. Yes, it's now on vibrate. It's now on my mouse pad, so it doesn't make a bunch of noise.
Excellent.
So, yeah. You know what I have been able to do, though? I've been able to work on my cars, which is really nice.
I'm really glad you mentioned that. It's not even on our topics list. Well, I guess it kind of is, but I've seen my Facebook and Instagram are just flooded with people, like, taking out their project cars that they've been neglecting to work on and doing these deferred maintenance projects.
Yeah, like, the Cresta, because the city of St. Louis Park, after 3 years of not buying tabs for it, finally yelled at me about it, which is fair. But I'm like, now I can't. So I just transferred insurance over onto it, so like now it's insured. Fun fact, I learned this today. Complete coverage insurance for a 1990 Toyota Cressida versus a 1986 Honda Accord.
Mm-hmm.
The 90 Cressida is $1.09 per year cheaper.
Wow, that is some useless information right there.
So there you go. That's further proof that Toyota Cressida is actually a good car to own.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not really disputing that, but... Okay.
But anyway, I took it out. I once put insurance on. I actually took it out for a drive, and
oh, nice.
I have to put I think I'll put my other transmission into it because this one is extremely funky.
Yeah, I thought you had to change it, like the cooler lines or something were screwed up.
Wait, so yeah, I put in cooler lines. I got that all sorted out and did all that. So now I keep transmission fluid in it, but the valve body's all just goofed up. So like. Most of the time, it will only stay in first gear, but if you really just give it the beans, it'll click in the second, which I don't want to deal with. I've got a good transmission directly behind it that I can easily put in.
Right, but isn't it great knowing that it doesn't matter if something happens to the transmission that's in the car?
Yeah, seriously. Like, because I just have the part there. It's really nice. I was kind of wishing it wouldn't happen when I'm on furlough, so I could, like, use my shop's lifts instead of having to do this like on my back in my garage with like 2 feet of space with like really sketchy Harbor Freight, jack stands.
Oh, it's fine. Harbor Freight stands are fine. I've done many swaps under those.
To be fair, yeah, their swaps are pretty good. It's just like it's one of those things where it's like once you have a lift, you're spoiled.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, once I had one at Recycle BMWs, like I left there. I'm like, I don't want to work on my car. I need a lift.
Yeah, seriously. Like I'm totally spoiled now. But let me tell you that car is so good, even with the 7M in it. I love the MX-83 Cresta.
There's nothing wrong with the 7M. There's just nothing wrong with it.
Well, actually, there are catastrophic issues well,
I mean, once you fix the head bolt thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, the cylinder heads themselves are actually really where the valve placing is, because it's a 4-valve head. When they do overheat, they have a tendency to kind of just like crack like everywhere. And not just like one, but like what they do is they actually like spiderweb out cracks.
Right, you have to take care of it before it overheats or blows a head gasket.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things where I think if you're going and just taking your 7M out and putting in a 2JZ, you're not getting a lot of gain out of it. Like, unless you plan on like taking it out on like road trips and you're afraid it might break down and you have to be able to find a part like at AutoZone, that's the only reason you'd ever want to put a 2JZ in over a 7M on that car.
Yeah.
But God, I forgot how just well balanced that car is. It's such a great car to drive.
I still have that memory when I found you guys on 94 in the gas Fiat. I think that's the only time I've seen that car moving. That's right after.
Yeah, that was about the same time. Yeah, this is when I was first using it as my daily driver. But God, it's such a great car. I really love the MX-83. I think you would be hard pressed today to find a better car in the $3,000 price range than an MX-83. Like, you can get like a bottom end E46.
I was gonna say, shameless plug, I've got a really nice E46 that I will sell somebody for less than $3,000 right now.
Yeah, so you can get the bottom end E46, you can get the world's nicest MX-83. Like, it's either way, you're getting a great car. But yeah, that $3,000 price range, I think the MX-83 just dominates it for what you're getting.
Fair enough.
So, speaking of your E46, I've seen pictures of that. What all have you done on that?
So, as you guys probably know if you've been listening long enough, which hopefully you have been, I bought a $350 2000 BMW 323i. I think it was last November. It was really late. Did nothing, parked it in the backyard of my house, and finally just moved it last week, I think, down to my working garage. And it needed some things. So when I got it, all of the little information center on the gauge cluster, like the high beams, low beams, and taillights were all shown as inoperative from the car. So I went under the hood just to like swap in some ballast to drive it, and it turns out the ballasts were unplugged. So I plugged them in and turned on the lights, and the low beams turned on, but they would like both flicker at the same time, on and off. The right side
weird.
tail light just didn't work at all, so I pulled the little plug on that thing and found that the ground pin on it was just completely scorched and gone. And some very cursory Googling in the cold backyard, I found that that's actually a really, really common thing.
Yeah, they are.
That was freaking out the light control module in the car. So I put a different set of taillights in it, and all the lights started working perfectly on the car. So I drove this completely blown out suspension car with 3 forward gears that worked from my house in East St. Paul down to Chanhassen. Threw in a good used trans, and then I threw in some hot boy coilovers. And
yeah, car looks really good now.
yeah, it's like the interior is really nice. It's sport package, it's cold weather package, it's premium package, premium sound. Like, it's full option. Like, 323s don't get this good, and it's in really nice shape too, like body wise. So I'm hopeful that I'll be able to unload that.
Did you actually end up replacing those ballasts?
No, I actually
So,
the stock ones were fine.
If the future prospective owner does purchase the car, they really shouldn't worry about that, because our BMW sells those ballast for like $45 a ballast, maybe.
Yeah, you have to get the early ones that have igniters too, so it's a little bit more. But you can definitely throw the eBay D2S converters in there, and it's just fine. But that car is pretty good now, and I actually bought it from Anna, Josh and Anna's Anna. That was her younger brother's car. So I actually told Anna that I'm ready to sell this, and if you guys want it, I'll give it to you for like nothing. And it sounds like
John's
they
car?
might buy it back. I don't know his name. I never met the kid.
So it's really funny. Like, my relationship with Anna is like, not only am I friends with her, I'm also friends with her brother Peter from like entirely different friend group. From, like,
Okay,
weird
that
friends.
happens.
Like, I like knew like Peter's like last name was Olsen, and I'm like, well, all right.
It's a pretty common last name.
I was like telling him, like, yeah, I got this friend named Anna. She's pretty cool. She's got her boyfriend was like awesome S10. And he goes, "You're talking about my sister." I'm like, no, I'm not.
Mind you, she has 3 brothers, 2 older and 1 younger.
I gotcha. Well, this was definitely the younger one, but I bought it
John,
from. It must have been like an uncle or something that actually handed me the title and keys. So.
Yeah, John, I used to bully in Minecraft. It was pretty funny.
But it'd be cool. They ended up with it again. Apparently, her brother's super stoked, and it's actually got Devo's old transmission in it, so they might. I haven't even told them that. I should probably tell them that.
Yeah, you actually should tell them that. That'd mean a lot to them. They'd be really excited.
But anyway, yeah, that's the first of the bunch of project cars that have made significant progress on.
Yeah, I've only been doing so much because I've also been up until yesterday had like 0 money because I was weighing my paycheck.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so I think Crest would be the main thing to work on. The Accord is gonna work on that, and it just started, which I'm like irritated about because all winter it would not start. I walk out, and I'm like, I pop the starter just to, like, inch it back because I didn't want to like actually have to like push it.
Yikes.
And then the vehicle starts. I'm very irritated. I'm just so angry. It's like, that was supposed to be my winter beater. And it was all winter, it would not start. Couldn't get anything to happen. I hit the fuel pump with like a hammer and everything. I cleaned off the spark plugs to make sure they weren't fouled out.
Mm-hmm.
Did everything. Nothing. Not a damn thing.
I'm picturing ass mad Ryan looking at an Accord now.
I was so irritated. I'm so ready for this car to go away. I love the CA Accord, but they don't love me, and I am gonna try really hard to never buy one ever.
They love me.
So,
That's cool.
yeah, now Jan is like.
Is
new
it starting
hot
reliably now, or is it just like a one-time shot?
I guess I don't know because
Okay.
I tried it only once.
I actually have my silver M3 that also is sitting in my backyard over the winter. I bought that car, and the guy's like, don't shut it off if you're away from home, because it might not start again. I'm like, okay. And I had no problem with the car. Drove it from North Dakota all the way back, shut it off a bunch of times, and drove it around all day yesterday. I was kind of using it as a daily. No problem. End of the day, starting up in Chanhassen just to move it inside. Won't start. I was like, oh, shit.
Finally it happened.
It finally happened. I'm glad it was right there because Corey was down there. I was working on Kurt, and we just pushed it inside. But I briefly looked at it today, and the thing that got it to start again was just literally unplugging the ECU and plugging it back in. So I'm guessing I've got some mild corrosion on the ECU. I'll have to take a quick peek at that. But I also had a frustrating issue with a car that kind of wouldn't start.
It's just like, it worked every other time except for, I'm so irritated about that. Like, except the only time I needed it to work, it wouldn't. Every other time, apparently, it just works fine. So that's now my least favorite car in the world.
That's bold.
Yeah, well, the good news is now Jana's new hot is like a Mercedes that she can take to back to the 50s.
Hasn't that always been like a Fintail?
Yes.
Yeah, she really wants a Fintail, so that's what we're looking for, and that's what the Accord will be replaced with once we have a house.
I think that's fair. I think that's a good fit, especially if it's in the right color combination.
Exactly.
Actually, Jana, I keep forgetting to ask you, but Darren, he might be selling his R107.
No, it's not old enough for Back to the 50s.
But it's an awesome R107.
R107s
No,
are
not for Back to
overrated.
the 50s.
That's fair. It's also a very, very good deal. So it's only it's pretty good. So
Yeah, but we'd have to fly out there, and he lives in one of the worst areas to go right now.
well, I didn't say we have to buy it right now.
I'm not going to go to Washington for a very long time after this.
That's fair. But anyway, so yeah, that's we're looking for a Back to the 50s car for my next whatever replaces the Accord in my driveway.
That's too bad. SLs, I mean, they kind of did exist back then, but those were obviously way too expensive because that would be
There's no way on earth I'd ever be able to afford
first
that.
gen. Yeah, and those are just through the roof. I mean,
I could be a scrub and get one of those Gazelle Mercedes kit cars. No, thank you.
No, actually, I think you should do that. Then we can play TLC's No Scrubs in the car all day.
Yeah, just not let me into your house.
Correct. That is the
My
one.
scrub car. Those things are awful.
Speaking of scrub car and SLs, I actually want to talk about our SL, our 97 SL600. That's
a great car.
It is a
Not
great car. Not a scrub car at all. I bought I think it's a knockoff, I'm not actually sure, of the Mercedes Star diagnostic computer from China, so I could look at the soft top operation because it won't go down reliably. And I think it just needs to be cycled through and like purge all the cylinders. I think there's some air pockets in some of the hydraulic lines. But there's no way to look
hydraulic.
at it. Yeah, it's a fully hydraulic top. It's got like 12 rams in it and a bunch of micro switches. But like I am working in the dark because I have no idea what it sees and doesn't see. But anyway, I bought that like 3 months ago, and I'm like, okay, it's shipping from China. It's going to take a while. I emailed them 2 days ago, and they gave me the runaround like, oh, sorry, dear, it's shipped somewhere in California. Can I send new one, priority 10-day DHL? I'm like, you didn't ship it.
Yes.
But yes, please send me a new one. So I ordered the Tough Book, the exact model you need to run this hard drive that it comes with all the software. And I've had that, I think, for 2 months now. And I really would like to work on the SL. So that's my next step, and I'm not really a huge fan of when sellers claim that they did something and clearly that's like the most obvious runaround in the book to try to make you not mad at them.
Yeah.
To be entirely fair, I have had conversations like that with people, and stuff like that does happen. Actually,
it does happen, but I bet it didn't in this case because there was no tracking information initially provided.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I had this this like 23 window that's at Good Karma, and we were in the runaround for 8 months on front drums for it because somebody had like hermaphrodited this entire car together. Well,
I'm surprised they didn't put the later early 70s or whatever it was.
Oh, they trust me, they put it in later. They put in the 1 year only front drums.
Oh, I know about those.
Which were the larger front drums, but still the Fat 5 leg pattern, which is super irritating.
Ew.
So I had to find them from Germany. Turns out the German ones aren't available, so they get them from a knockoff company in China. The knockoff company in China didn't have it, so then we had to go back to Germany and have them just like mill it from like a freaking block of
hewn from an ingot.
Yeah. We had to get like some like blacksmith to like hammer it out. It was a nightmare. So yeah, it literally took 8 months to get 2 front drums. Like this poor guy, like he bought this van so it could be like the quote unquote family car for his like Porsche collection.
Okay, but does he have a stock engine in it?
Yeah, like he bought this van for like, he bought it for like 120,000.
I know who you're talking
A 20.
about.
Well, yeah, it's a 23 window. If it's in nice shape, I get it.
It's flawless, but I mean
Okay.
like
Poor guy is like the nicest guy in the world.
yeah,
too, and
he's
totally
like super
understanding.
nice. Totally doesn't deserve any of this, and so like I get why they did the weird brake job because the front brakes and those like the factory ones from like 1957 are objectively terrifying.
Yeah,
Like,
I've heard that, and I
it.
don't know much about those vans.
They're really bad. Like,
Ryan failed to mention the reason why they were replacing the brakes in the first place was because they went out on the highway.
Oh, yeah. I
Oh
should
god,
say they
that's
went
our
on the
first
highway.
mistake right there.
And the guy had to engine brake the van to stop and bumped into the car that was in front of him.
In a
At,
23 window. Oh my god.
At like 5 miles an hour, it just creased the bumper. He's like, thankfully, that was it. But
Yikes.
yeah.
Yeah, those are king of brake fade.
Yeah,
Oh,
and this
yeah,
was
they're
also
really
the
bad.
one that we saw at auction on Monterey Car Week.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it was. It was actually one of those. Yeah, it was bought from Arm Sotheby's. But yeah. So what people do is they'll put on like the 1 year only 5 like fat 5 lug pattern big. It was like slightly.
Is that just because they want the old look wheels?
Yeah,
Okay.
because that actually does make a huge difference in value.
Oh, okay. That's dumb.
Yep.
Because the disc brake ones are way better.
Well, kinda, because yes, they are way better, but the
I know they're
disc
less
brakes,
desirable, but
no, like every year was a 1 year.
no,
Like,
there were a couple of instances where there were a 2-year run of things in those type.
I think they did like the 76 through 78 or 76 through 79.
I think
Those are the most
67 and
common
68
ones.
shared a lot too.
Yes, I think so. And then they had the, but like regardless, it's not like much better because the Type 2 is a nightmare to find any parts for because every year is different.
Yeah, I have heard about that from you and actually everyone that's ever talked to me about a Type 2. Or sorry, talked at me about a Type 2.
They're
Because let's
not
be
good.
honest, I'm not really complicit in these conversations for the most part.
You're like,
Like, get away
all
from me.
times.
Like, I don't want to talk to you about your garbage van, even though it's really cool.
it's actually a cool van.
It is a very cool vehicle. I would just never ever
But you're
consider
sick of
buying
people
one.
talking to you about it.
Talking
At
at
you
me
about it.
Yes.
Yeah,
at
not
me.
too. Yeah. So actually, one more thing. So, you know the channel, like the Hot Ones interviews.
No. Is that
It's
some
this
hot
channel
boy
where
stuff?
they. No, it's this channel where they interview celebrities tube while giving them increasingly hotter hot wings.
Oh yes, yeah. I saw.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
what's that chick's
they-
name?
Yeah, they've got another series on that channel called Tacos con Todo, called Tacos with Everything, where they interview celebrities and have them go and show like their favorite taco spot. So the first episode was Gabriel Iglesias, and they took one of his vans. He's got, if you don't know, he's got the world's largest Type 2 collection. He's got like every version of the Type 2 ever. It's worth millions of dollars. And of course, he takes them out in like his like basic bay window. But actually, Gabriel Iglesias, when he's not doing the fluffy thing, super funny, really cool.
I've seen that episode. I'm pretty sure because yeah, he's got some interesting stuff.
He's got a really cool collection. Yeah, but
What's
yeah,
the
no,
show
he's
called?
Tacos con Todo.
Okay, I'm thinking of a different show on YouTube, but I was thinking of Aubrey Plaza eating hot
Yeah,
wings.
yeah,
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 the Hot
yeah.
Ones.
It's Hot Ones. Yeah.
Okay,
It's the
because
same people.
Aubrey
same people.
Plaza is like my favorite person in the entire universe.
I love her
She's great.
so much.
Yeah.
And her,
Also
that
Puerto
interview
Rican.
was so
Snorting milk.
I don't even care that she snorts milk, Corey.
So, have you done anything on your M5 recently?
I haven't except keep the tires pumped up, which is a full-time job on that car. They hold air all season, but when you park it, They don't anymore. The reason why I put it in here, though, is I was actually finally able to find just one good used front right strut for that car. I've been trying to fix a pretty significant suspension shake on that car since I bought it, and I didn't want to buy like $900 of new suspension because the rest of it is pretty much perfect. So I finally found one OE complete upright. It was like $100 shipped. And that's all that was.
Did the strut, like the actual strut rod, like hog itself out?
No, somebody clearly hit a really big pothole because it actually like flat spotted the wheel really minimally, and then also just blew the seal out of the strut. So it's just it's gone. Everything else on the car is fine, but
both of my rear struts on my van were like that. And what had actually happened was the strut had hogged itself out from that.
Yikes.
I kept driving it. I
was going to say, that probably gave you some warning before it completely let go.
It gave me lots of warning, and then it got really bad. And I just put in some, like, whatever struts, and honestly, you can barely even feel a difference.
You still on the Mazda 3 coilovers?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So just now in the back, I've got KYB GR2s, shocks. But, yeah, that shock was it was dreadful, and when I pulled it out, you could actually take it by hand and wiggle it around, and you would have watched the strut rod just jiggle it out.
I've definitely taken some of those out, but it was in my recycled BMWs days, and these were cars that were it
makes an amazing noise. Let me tell you what, you really feel like your whole car is about to fly apart.
Oh yes. Yes.
So I've been seeing a lot of convertibles out. I actually saw somebody driving a Triumph Spitfire and a old Fiat 124.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
At the same time yesterday.
Wait, no.
I was driving two cars at once.
Yeah, the guy was. No. Yeah, he was jumping back and forth between two questionably reliable cars.
I've heard of ghost riding, but yeah, that is a whole new level.
The next level.
No, I saw a guy driving a Spitfire, a southbound I-100, and then when I got onto Normandale, a guy drove across on American Boulevard in a 124. I'm like, wow, it's like unreliable convertible day today.
I have seen in the field of Karens still ambulating around, I guess not ambulating, but whatever, in their crossovers, there are some very interesting cars that are out and about, and they really stand out right now because there's nothing out and about.
Oh, yeah.
People have nowhere to go, so it's all joyrides. It might as well be their project car or their old beater.
I got so much attention even in that, like, not super great E36 M3 yesterday. Like, I had to go to the gas station and put some gas in it, and like,
I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty, as far as E36s go, that's a pretty great E36.
Well, it is. It's a four-door. It's got a bunch of period Dynan mods on it and stuff. Like, it's actually a pretty solid car. Still not sure what to do with it.
Once it has a flathead in it.
Yeah, I would really like to do that, but I'm just not sure that's going to happen. Flatheads are so expensive.
Oh my god, it's unbelievable. Like
a good APA or EAB is like $1,500.
It's like how much?
$1,500. I know of one locally I could go and buy right now for that, but it doesn't even have like aluminum heads or anything, and it's been off the road for 10 years.
I would honestly just get a whole car and then sell the car.
I'm not to the point where I'm gonna do that, and like the more I live with this E36 too, other than the time that it didn't start for me, like that S52 was real healthy. So I was like, and it's like maybe 4 hours of bodywork away from being a really nice car. So like, maybe I should just have the bodywork done and just keep it as like an example of an E36, because I'm gonna have the bookending cars already, so it doesn't.
Yeah, I think you should probably do that, to be honest, because this is the thing. It's like the E36 is not the best car in the world,
and it's pretty much fully depreciated right now.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's the thing. It's like even a 280ZX, which is like that's an equivalent of an E36.
We know how you feel about that car.
Yeah, like even a 280ZX is like a good 280ZX. That's still nothing to scoff at. Like that's still a hell of a lot better than a Hyundai Kona. Like
it's much more entertaining to drive. Like absolutely, not trying to dispute that.
If you do it right, if you massage in the right spots, you can make it into a pretty car. It's just that's the thing. Is like,
well, you just said it's like a fat suit car. It just wasn't trying.
Yeah, it's one of those cars where it's like, the E30 can naturally be pretty. The E46 can naturally be pretty. The E36, if you put on the right makeup and you give it the correct lighting and you give it a pretty dress that's like slimming in the center, then you can make it into a pretty car.
Well, that's the thing. It's a 4-door, so it already has the better proportions. And I have like a couple other period mods like that. They call it a heck blende, but it's a piece of essentially reflective plastic that sits on the trunk lid between the taillights to make it look like one big taillight. So
yes.
I've got a bunch of stuff like
so
that.
Cool.
I know, it's super neat. So I think
totally put that on.
I'm going to, but I need factory taillights first. I'm showing the chat right now. Sorry, the stream. That's a 280ZX. So it's a gold 280ZX turbo with those weird 4-spoke wheels.
Is the cheese grater, is that a factory standard item, or is that an aftermarket add-on?
The back window louvers?
Yeah, louvers.
Ryan can speak to that.
Let me take a look at it. I'm looking at... Actually, all of that stuff is factory. That's 100% factory.
I mean, that's probably the best 280ZX ever, but...
Yeah, those are called swastikas. It's a 280ZX 2+2, which is really ugly.
Yep.
Those are factory louvers. That is a factory vinyl on the side, and those are factory fog lights. Oh, and it also has the factory aero covers on the headlights, which are really cool.
Oh, that's actually really neat. I like those.
Yeah, so if this car wasn't beige, this would be like world's greatest 2+2. Like if this was red, this would be really cool. Like I'd love that car in red.
I was gonna pull up a sedan M3 real cool. Yeah, I actually kind of like having Modi as the screen so I can pull up content.
Yeah, this is a great idea.
So, like, hold on, it's the intermission thing from.
You have a note here that says future EV.
Yeah, okay, so that kind of ties into, I don't even know which episode, it doesn't matter, but I was looking at some auctions, some insurance auto auctions, and I found a Nissan Leaf, which is, if you're going to build an EV right now, that's what you start with, because the inverters apparently are super easy to crack and take advantage of. So I was actually bid on one about 2 weeks ago. I think it's a 2015 Leaf with some fairly minor front end damage, but had deployed airbags. And I think I bid it up to like $2,700, and it went for $2,800. My broker emailed me last week saying that it didn't sell, and it was coming back up this week. So he contacted me day of the rerun. He's like, "How much do you want to bid?" I'm like, "Honestly, I'm pretty financially uncertain right now, so I'll bid $1,200." But like, and the car went for $2,000. So that is a full 2015 vehicle that runs and drives with a 24 kilowatt hour battery, the gear case, axles, suspension, inverter, everything. So really,
did both airbags deploy, like passenger side? Or just the driver's side?
You know, I didn't look that closely because I didn't care. I think it was just driver's side bag.
Cool. So you can just totally replace that steering wheel with like an NRG, like neochrome.
I wouldn't drive the car, Ryan.
What do you put the motor into?
I think Brexit. If I end up finding a reasonable Leaf and actually getting going on that project, then I'll probably throw the K series into the 2002. So that's.
I think the factory engine of 2002 would be way better.
It's cool, but I am so frustrated with all the work on the harness and things like that I've already done.
Oh,
so
that's fair.
I don't know, and like
there's just like there's already a 2002 in the world with like an SR2 in it, so you'd just be like making like the equivalent car.
No, I'd be making a better car because it's an Element K series. Like that is
it's
the
a way
most
better
humble...
engine, but I mean like, at face value, to a percent car, so it's just like, oh, it's another 2002 with the Japanese engine. But like, if it's a 2002 and somebody actually put fuel injection on the factory engine, that's really cool.
Yeah,
like,
I've done a lot of work to that.
Forza.
I'm not considering any swap on the E10 until I've driven it with the M10. So no worries there, really, and I might fall in love with that engine. Who knows? But it's just one of those things.
You will.
I mean, they were popular cars, so I don't know.
It's a really good car, yeah. But yeah, I think you gotta find something really dumb to put that engine into.
Well, I mean, I have it, so I'm sure there will be other things I can
think devise. I just thought of the car. It's perfect for you.
Oh, no.
1 second here.
Cute Cat Express. Thank you, Chris. Very, very informative in the Twitch chat
in the
there.
Process of finding you this car. It's got the cutest face in the world.
Well, once I'm done with the replacement element, you can just make it a pull me, push me.
Oh yeah, a twin engine? That'd be sweet.
Yep.
All right, Now, take a look at that
I
photo.
should start with a crappy front-wheel drive one.
Yes. No, this is a crappy front-wheel drive car from the 1970s.
Did you put a link in or something?
Yes, it did.
Oh, there it is.
Go onto the... Yeah.
I'm working on it. Oh.
It's got the cutest headlights.
It doesn't.
So big. Jana, tell me what you think of these headlights, and Eric put them on the stream, okay?
Hold on. I gotta hide the Modi real quick. That isn't...
Loading.
Let's play Hide the Modi.
Pew! Now I have to make this more bigger.
I mean, it's fine.
There's so
I
much
think those
stuff going
headlights
on
are
in my Threadripper.
adorable.
They're too big.
They are too big. That's what's so cute about it. They're entirely too big.
You know, you're absolutely right. They are entirely too large.
Like, the too big headlights make that car way too cute.
No, it makes it endearing. It doesn't make it cute. That's the difference.
I
Wait,
agree.
I think a Datsun F10
Alright,
with
back to
a
Big Modi.
Leaf EV would be perfect.
Well, it would be, because I've been told that guy I connected with down at the Fully Charged Live thing in Austin, he's like, the Nissan Leaf drivetrain is rubbish in the Leaf, but it's excellent on anything else. I'm like, oh,
It
okay,
really
cool.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that
literally
main
perfect.
thing
And-
is everything's lighter and it doesn't have safety equipment, so of course it's going to be better.
Is it
Yeah.
over-engineered where you can add an extra 10-20% horsepower in there as well?
Every component except for the inverter can handle that. The inverter is pretty much, it's built to handle stock power, so...
And the stock power is like 110 on those?
So you'd be
it's
literally
more than
doubling the
that.
power. You'd be doubling the power of that Datsun F10.
Sorry about my keyboard, guys. Oh, there it
And-
is. Only 107 horsepower. Okay, so there must be some additional room on the table, because those motors, I think people are routinely getting about 200 horsepower out of them.
So yeah, you could easily put that into F10, and even at factory power, have like twice as much power. I think the other issue with the Leaf is the chassis itself, because that car is
Yeah.
not designed to be
No.
like anything remotely sporting. Like, it's just-
Correct. And it shows.
Yeah, it really does show on that car. It's extremely apparent.
One of my
Um,
parents used to drive that, like, from school. And,
To clarify, one of your students' parents.
yeah, one of my students' parents used to drive it, and he looked exactly like what should be a person driving it. He was very old, and he always wore, like, these straw hats. And he looked like a turtle. It was just... it was the most perfect
So-
person driving that car.
Burger, I'm gonna send you one more picture of that Datsun F10 to just try and sell the point. That you
That's
should
fine.
really-
Just post it
get
somewhere
one of
where I
those.
can see it.
It's
yeah.
right there. I just posted the link right below it.
I see that.
So this
Oh,
is a race spec version because they actually race those cars. So this is proof that this would be a better Nissan than the Leaf to put a Leaf engine into.
Oh, God. Hold on one second. Sorry. It's,
'Cause
it's in like a
the-
separate Firefox tab, so I have to...
Oh God!
But
anyway,
I have
it's-
4 monitors on my computer, okay? This is... I'm going a mile a minute here.
But so they actually race these in
Oh, that's pretty cool.
think-
I love those
yeah.
wheels.
wouldn't that be tight? Like, that'd be super
Those little
cool.
gold
Like,
boys. Okay, what's the diameter of the gold section of that wheel? It's got to be like 8
those
inches.
wheels. Well, the actual wheel section maybe a 10-inch, but if you include the barrel and everything, probably 14, 13-inch.
Okay.
It's got to be a 13, actually.
I'm guessing they're 13-inch actual barrels, yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's got to be like a 13 by like 10. And like, I see the rear is like a 13 by 8 with like a minus 50 offset. Like, those are some hot boy wheels.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a really,
There's
real
0
good
and then
fitment.
there's beyond 0.
Yeah. So with this, that's basically that same car I showed you with the cool racing livery. They put on a front air dam and a spoiler, and then the Japanese bumpers. That's all they did.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
liveries can make a pretty unassuming and kind of, well, I want to say boring, but a boring car.
Homely. It's a homely car. Factory. Homely but endearing.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that my audio was dropping out.
It
I
is
don't-
actually being to cut out now. Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's fine on the chat. It's probably just you guys listening to me on Discord. I'm
Well, I'm
guessing
listening to you on the chat.
you'll listen to me on the Twitch stream or the Discord.
Discord.
Yeah, I think it's only on Discord. I think if you're listening on the Twitch stream, it's okay.
So I think the issue though is you don't want to do your first EV conversion on something too nice, like a historic car like that. I think if you messed it up, you might be
I already
you
messed
might
it
kick
up.
yourself. So I
Hey-
think you got to start with something kind of crappy, just as your
Scott,
test
one
mule.
second. I'm just going to mute my microphone real quick and listen to audio through the Twitch stream.
Anyway,
It's gonna be
See how it
delayed, I
works.
think. You can
It
try,
is, but I'm going to be able to see when Eric talks and see
That's
how
fine.
it comes through, okay? One moment.
Well, then he can't hear me ripping him then, right?
Well, perfect then. Yeah, just go for it. But no, I mean, my main reasoning behind Brexit, as my contender is like if I made it work in an E30, I think that would be popular. I already ruined that car by putting an S52 turbo in it, so I'm not going to ruin it more. Like, it was
you
way
reversibly
better.
ruined it. You didn't permanently ruin it by cutting sheet metal.
I don't plan to cut any sheet metal for
Right
the
through.
EV swap either, though.
By the way, you sound fine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Amanda, I am using sauce. I am using Burger King honey mustard on my Hy-Vee chimkin strips. I'm not an animal.
So, anyway, I'd like to talk about motorsports. for a
Sounds
second.
good. Please.
Since we had that Datsun F10 race car on the stream, all motorsports, it appears, is still continuing on, but
Are still continuing on.
via iRacing.
Or F1 2019, like that Grand Prix that Corey and I watched.
Well, F1, because I thought F1 also did iRacing. Or was that just NASCAR that did it? 'Cause I know
It
NASCAR,
wasn't F1.
Oh, it must have been IndyCar or something. But
Corey says it was NASCAR.
it was NASCAR? Okay. Yeah, because NASCAR does...
F1 used the game F1 2019.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah,
Corey, you can
Yeah,
unmute your mic and say that if you want.
I heard him, so that's fine.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so NASCAR is going to be racing on iRacing, and I think Formula E is going to be doing that, most likely.
Well, I mean, it's whatever platform can most easily handle the actual vehicles, right? So, like, if you have a game that already has this year's F1 cars in it, why would you not use that, even if the game is trash?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
iRacing,
exactly.
iRacing's great, but it doesn't have the biggest catalog of cars.
And yeah, I think that's another thing is, well, because I guess there's a all-star esports battle between different race car drivers, so it's like the best of NASCAR, best of F1, and everything. They're all getting together in R Factor 2 in racing. Then GT Academy is doing a lot of stuff with like Grand Touring racing and everything. So I think it's actually really cool to see like Juan Pablo Montoya, Max Verstappen, all get together on like the same platform and actually race like on the computer. I think it's really tight.
Especially because they're not on location. Like, these people are... I mean, they have sponsored really, really nice Fantech systems and all that
yeah,
kind of
they've
stuff.
got nice
but
rigs, but I mean, like, yeah,
Scott
they're
just
all
actually
like from home.
sent me a link to post, and it's actually on the stream right now, but Nissan has made professional racing drivers out of Gran Turismo gamers, and it's got
They
a
have,
picture.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember that.
It's pretty cool.
I actually made it to the third round of the original Gran Turismo Academy.
Dang.
Yeah, and I was very quickly outclassed in round 3. Like, I went from like being middle of the pack in the other two to like dead last in round 3. But that was also like well over 10 years ago.
Scott, my webcam can't reach that far, unfortunately. Sorry.
Okay.
So this all-star esports battle that I was telling you about in R Factor 2, I'm just gonna read you the list of people that are on this. Like, there's like some
Okay.
people that most people don't know, but like a lot that people know. So Max Verstappen, Neil Johnny, Juan Pablo Montoya, Billy Monger, Rudy Van Buren, Brandon Lee, Simon Pagino, Felix Rosenquist, Antonio Felix de la Costa, Sebas Montoya, Delvin De Francisco, like a lot of like F1 drivers, a lot of like Le Mans people. This would be a really, really cool
Pontiac
race.
Le Mans?
Yep. Le Mans.
Oh, thank you. La Petite Le Mans.
But I think it's just really cool. I think it's just a really awesome way to keep that going when everybody else is...
I was watching this to kind of throw it back again to this F1 Grand Prix that we watched. I mean, it kind of sucked because it wasn't on a great platform. They had a lot of technical difficulties. It was only a half or a quarter race, I think, by the time they actually started. But the fact that there were amateurs mixed in with professionals and the fact that you could do stuff that's totally not allowed, it was great. Like, the most fun we had watching it was just watching this rookie slam into the back as, like, Mr. Von Doren at, like, 100-mile-an-hour closing speed in an F1 car. I'm just like, this is great! Nobody dies like Ayrton Senna, and everyone gets to see cool stuff.
Yeah, this is great. Like, I love that. That's how all racing should always be at all times. It's just that ridiculous. I don't care about rules in racing. Just give me something exciting. You know? Like, I don't want, like, a crash test. I don't want, like a demolition derby, but I want, like, some, like, Ayrton Senna, like, really bend the hell out of the rules racing.
Yep.
Like, that's the way you should do it.
Oh, yeah. The amateurs were, like, all over the curbs and everything. They were getting penalties, but they didn't care.
Yeah, 'cause they're racing against, like, Max Verstappen. Of course, I don't care. Like...
I wish they had, like, cameras on the people in the Sims to, like, see how frustrated they are when stuff like that happens.
That'd be perfect. Like,
What
I
is
think it's
DAS?
actually really fun. That's a really funny idea for play series. Is like actual race car drivers race against amateurs. That'd
Yeah,
be
absolutely. I think every F1 race needs, like, 2 just total plebs.
Yeah, it'd be great. Like, that'd be super funny. Like, put Ken Block and have him actually race in Forza Horizon. Like, that'd be super funny against, like, all the shameful and everything.
So I'm reading through the
Fun
Twitch
thing.
chat. It's kind of hilarious. Scott sent me a link on 2020 Mercedes F1 steering, which is apparently DAS, and apparently that actually means, what is it, dual axis steering? But then Chris did a direct attached storage. I don't even know which one to believe. Nor do I customizable steering. I don't understand. Like, I don't want to read this. That's too many words.
You push it and pull it to change the geometry of the steering.
Oh,
which I guess
interesting.
That's
Yeah,
actually pretty
makes
cool.
corner better. But anyway, the regulations are totally new for 2021. It's a totally new car.
Yeah,
And
so
this
they're
was
totally
already
getting
banned for that time, so this was
Aw.
their one hurrah to try to basically, cleverly bend the rules for the last year before the regs changed, and now the season might be canceled.
Yeah, well,
Well
I
spent
heard
R&D.
Yep.
a lot of other teams are just totally abandoning making a new car for 2020, and they're just going on to 2021 because they can't afford to make the 2020 car race at once, and then
We'll just call it 2020 plus next year.
Yeah.
2020/1.
We'll just have
This will
2
be the
seasons.
best year for Williams in several years, though,
Why is
Yeah,
that?
that's true.
because they won't lose as many races.
Oh,
It's true.
brutal. Correct, but
Yeah, Williams won't lose as many races, and Ferrari will just throw in the towel. So, like, they might actually have a chance.
Ryan, did you pick this story just because it has an extremely 80s cover photo?
No, I was just trying to find something automotive related, and it was kind of dead this week, so I
It
wanted
was
to do that.
very
And then
dead this week.
this happens to be the first photo that I found was this super 80s.
Well, it's very
cover
fitting.
photo. Yeah, it's great. So what's going on with like cars and caves or whatever it is at
So-
Autoplex?
Pretty much all of the car shows in the foreseeable future, not even just here, but for most of the world, have pretty much been canceled or postponed.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So I actually went down to the Chanhassen Motorplex where we typically record 2 days ago, and by they I mean one member, contracted with a local couple of guys that apparently I've never heard of them before, but it's called Two Guys in a Ride. And they were super duper nice guys, and they swung through I think 7 units, and they just did a quick like interview and walk around with some standard
Yeah, that's
questions.
cool.
So they're gonna do a 7-part virtual car show YouTube series. And
Okay.
I gave them a couple cards and koozies because they commented on the podcast gear, and I'm like, we'd love to have you guys on, so maybe we'll try to get them on.
I would
at
love
some
to have
point.
them on.
Yeah,
That
they were
sounds super
they were
fun.
super cool guys. So
Sounds great.
either way, I'll try to keep you guys apprised when I actually find the links for these things. But yeah, it should be a welcome, relief for people in quarantine or isolation, just getting a little more normalcy in their lives. So it was fun to do. Hopefully, I didn't get any super aids from being social distances from all these people, but we'll see.
Apparently, yeah. Speaking of doing stuff over the internet some more, I've been playing a lot of Forza Horizon because I don't want to have to buy a new racing video game these days. Forza Horizon's kind of just a good, fun game.
Yeah, it's a great way to kill time.
Yeah, it's a really good game. But so the game had one glaring issue was they didn't have Toyota, which is my favorite brand. And last year they added in the Supra, which is great. And then apparently they
GR?
added in no, the real
Mark IV?
Supra, the Mark IV. Yeah. But which is like a sign of how much faith Toyota has in the Supra. But whatever. But they also added an A86. It was like a 1 week only thing to get, Like, it's like super difficult to get the AE86 in the game. So apparently, I've seen one person actually drive the AE86. Apparently it's in there.
Was
but
it
now
you?
they added. No, it wasn't me. I was very irritated because I found out the week after that the AE86 was available. But now you can get the 2000 GT, which is much better. The Daisy car, Jana.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so you can now get the 2000 GT in Forza Horizon, and I'm very excited for that. And it's a ton of work, but you should totally go on. If you own that game, you want it, you should go get it, because that would be a huge pain in the butt to get later.
And also, if you are much more of a casual gamer, even if you have a Steam account, Drawful 2 from Jackbox is free right now on Steam.
Oh,
so
shoot, is
that.
it?
Mm-hmm.
I love Drawful. That's where I got my...
It's a video Pictionary you can play with friends over like Facebook Live or stuff like that. It's really good. Go get it.
Yeah, I actually own a T-shirt that I made in Drawful.
Hell yeah. DRAWFUL 2 on Steam.
It's this like spooky bitch, and there's like a snake coming out of a butt. It's a great shirt.
We played a lot of that in one of the Polar runs. Yeah, there were a lot of Modi pictures I drew back in the day. Modi's Brown Star was all over the internet.
His Brown Star was all over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
You said, "Oh no."
Yep.
Here we go.
He wished that was always
I
the case.
referenced the 2000 GT as the Daisy car because Jana made one in Forza, and it was her favorite car ever.
Made one in
Forza. I just uploaded a picture of her Daisy car. If you want to show it to people, it is. She just like maxed out everything for power on the car, made it all-wheel drive.
Yikes.
And then painted it pink and put a big daisy on the door.
People were very confused.
It's like the TDI Beetles with the flower pedal wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
oh, by the way, you can still buy those.
The flower pedal wheels?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's because Ronal still produces them.
Yeah, them, and there's this other team, like Focus or something. I think there's another brand that makes it. But yeah, there's another brand that makes them as well, and they're actually like really cheap from the other brand. But yeah, the Daisy car was one. So Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Scott just keeps posting links in the chat, and I keep looking at them. And it's about the Toyota Subaru BU GT86Z.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they're prepping a 255 horsepower version finally.
I think it's a new replacement version. I don't think it's like a new engine in the existing chassis.
So is it an FB, I wonder? I mean, that would be good. I know people want that.
It's supposed to be turbo. That's about all I know.
But this looks like the car we saw
it's a different engine.
at the auto show. I mean, well, kinda. It doesn't have the same front end or anything, but it's got the big Brembos.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just a stock photo. You can find renderings, but I don't think they really know yet.
Well, that's a great car. I'm surprised that it's actually still around. Like, it's awesome, but obviously it's kind of a niche product, so they didn't sell all that well, even though they are 2+2s.
Make a convertible.
Seriously, and then keep 4 seats in it.
Honestly, yeah, I think I would have been able to sell twice as many BRZs when I was selling. Well, not twice as many, probably 4 times as many BRZs.
There were renderings right away on convertibles, and they looked awesome, but they never made them.
Well, there's also a shooting brake that the Subaru of Australia or somebody made that they loved, and that Toyota of Australia made, and Akio Toyota loved it, but they didn't put it in production. Because I would have totally taken a shooting brake.
Of course,
as well.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, because Akio Toyota's only one man. He can only do so much.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but also I'm still depressed by it.
Yes. It won't make you depressed. I got that picture of Jana's Daisy car up in the
you do?
Notes. Yes, I do. So you can see it. I
found
it. I used
highlight
it
it with your cursor so I can see it.
right there.
Okay.
At the bottom of the final note.
I can see your highlights. So. Also, can I just say, Google Docs is the best thing for like collaboration ever. All right, there. Oh wow, that's I actually really like that.
It's
And
really
If
fun.
I saw a
Daisy on the
2000
hood,
GT
too.
that looked like that, I wouldn't even be mad.
There's also Daisy on the hood as well. So I fully intend on remaking that in the new Forza.
That's awesome.
Also, the locale of Forza 2 is still the best locale of all the Forzas, because all the other ones are like comparing to that. Every time I play like Horizon and it's like winter, I'm like, I actually log out. It's like, I don't want to be. I don't want. Like, dude, I'm playing this to get away from winter.
That's like going to a horror movie. Like, why would I
don't
pay
at
to
all.
be frightened? No, why would I pay to drive in the snow? It just doesn't make sense.
No, this is stupid. Like so, like 25, like so, yeah, like, for 3 months out of the week, or out 3 months.
Wow,
3 weeks
3 months
out
out of the week. That is impressive.
What? For 3 weeks out of the month,
Damn.
I can actually play Forza. Otherwise, it's just like god awful nightmare. God
awful nightmare. That sounds like a graphics setting on the new Doom Eternal. They have like Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare, and they're like graphics levels for this game. I don't understand.
That's hilarious. I love that there's. Yeah, because I know they had some like goofy names for stuff, but that's really. I just haven't played it at all. Actually, I got Escape from Tarkov, and that's actually probably the best first-person shooter I've ever. It's the best first-person shooter I've ever played.
Cora says it's good. I have no idea what that is.
It's super good. It's this
Diablo.
it's like a permadeath battle royale survival game.
Oh, you lost my battle royale.
It's you should play it on a
Go
Corey
play your
Spears.
Fortnite.
No, it's not Fortnite. If anything, it's like what PUBG should be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm playing Animal Crossing.
Jana's actively
That
playing Animal Crossing.
Nintendo, I have to say, is killing it with casual gamers right now. I've seen so many people streaming Animal Crossing. It's nuts.
Yeah, because Animal Crossing's great.
I mean,
It's funny.
it's fine as long as your controllers aren't blue and pink.
Mine are yellow and brown.
Good.
But anyway, we should take a break from this so we can get.
Yep, we'll do a little break
episode
and we'll come back
158
for.
up. I need to get a beer because I'm out of coffee.
That is just
Yeah, I
fine.
need
Let me
coffee.
bring back the Modi full screen, and then we'll just kind of leave Twitch going. So anyone on Twitch right now, feel free to just stick around in the room here for actual audio podcast listeners.
Hey,
we'll see you next week.
You should put on some royalty-free music for them.
That.
How about Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture?
I'll see what I can do for the Twitch viewers. But again, for the audio listeners, we will see you next week. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, perfect.
Bye-bye.
See ya.